Welcome in, everybody. Welcome back. This time again, we are in Ludwigshafen. I'm giving you another little unique treat. Of a very interesting way on how to cross things, and this is now Ludwigshafen, the suburb which is called Ludwigshafen. Ludwigshafen in Ludwigshafen, from one harbor port to the next. So this little camper fella of a bridge has a very unique feature, that it's actually called a swinging bridge, eine Drehbrücke, which you can actually see if we're actually getting the opportunity of boats crossing over. Alrighty, step up, sis, and we have a unique split in here of this bridge. Follow me real careful, and you see it makes a little half moon circle all the way down here. So if you happen to be here on time, if boats or larger ships need to cross, then this part will get you spinning in circles. So instead of, like most bridges, that they're lifting up one way or the other, just sideways up, this one stands still on the spot and just simply swings in a circle. Got a nice little small harbor there for boats. And this is the other end, half moon circle that you can see right here. And this closes in for the swinging bridge. So now, luckily as we were, we made it across. But there's actually barriers that'll tell you right now, if situation occurred that this thing get into swinging things, you definitely get a notice, and it will, instead of up, it will spin in a circle. Hopefully we get to experience this, but doesn't look much like of a very busy day today. As we continue in our walk, just a few steps further down to the Parkinsel, another very unique feature, the Park Island. Crossing over into the Hafenstraße, the harbor or port street, which further down this side where the bus just now approaches us was actually a place where my sister once lived, with more or less a part of our family there. Stretches further down there. So she grew up as a Palatiner, as a Pfälzer, Ludwigshafener in her early school days, but she was still born as a Mannheimer. Then later on down, I happened to be pumping up things and born as a Mannheimer. Ja.
Ist vielleicht schon ewig da.
Can definitely recommend to walk in this nice little scenic area in any given time in the afternoon. This is now approaching now closer a little bit to between 5 and 6 p.m. local time, and you will have a tons of shades in here, highly unusual for parks like the Luisen Park, for example, that we have earlier visited. Evidence footage, very long, and you will be exposed at least by 40% of sunlight, and here you got at least tons of shades. definitely one thing we gotta give it a heads up, not so overcrowded and overpopulated like so many other well-known area. A little bit of a hidden gem. And welcome now to this part of the Rhine River, which this promenade happened to be famously named after Hannelore Kohl, the wife of our reunion Chancellor Helmut Kohl. He was Chancellor of Germany during the times from the mid to late 80s up to the early 90s. And as we also know, Hannelore Kohl and her husband, they actually came from this town of Ludwigshafen and were of course very well known locals. And here we go. It looks like we caught at least everything right on time with quite some water activity splashing around. Scooby-Doo, what you gonna do when they come for you? So there you have it. You don't have to be necessarily only a local industrial neighborhood to not have to miss out on your local Scooby-Doo and splash and coastline fun stuff. I believe we'll see some more on the back again. I mean, they'll be literally splashing it up. Definitely will make some kiddos happy here. And some doggies there by taking advantages of some waves that come in our way. As it also happens to be a very unique fact about this place, except we'll be getting rained on by some nuts. I'm not quite sure if there's some squirrels now that'll be really very unpleasantly inconvenienced by our presence. But across from us is the other side of Mannheim, bordering the Rhine on the opposite direction. So we have the Stefanien Ufer, and I don't know, somebody in the water. Actually, I'm not quite sure if they're really trying to cross over that way. This will be the ultimate border crossing. You actually happen to have Mannheim on the other side. This is the Rhine River. This is Baden-Württemberg, and this is the Rheinland-Pfalz, the Palatine. So the Rhine River is another, at one point in time, old historical dividing line. And some little geese here are quite curious, maybe about some leftovers. And so, if you do remember, at one point in time we had, as just the previous video, we had the Rhine Gallery, also on the riverside, which had our telecommunications tower, the well-known symbol here that we see now on the left, shown it on the right. It gives you a little bit of an idea on what circle we have made around, coming all the way to the right. And this is now called the Parkinsel, the Park Island. Most likely because you remember earlier having this little swinging bridge, and there was one arm of the Rhine River crossing underneath, and this is one side, and you have basically from here to where we walked all the way across before on the other bridge, where the Rhine River was, having all the space in this island in between, and naming itself therefore the Park Island, the Parkinsel. So we already know it's a park. We just had to figure out the island park, the island part of the park by itself. And we happen to have one of those cool transporters approaching from the left, and another smaller camper coming in from the right, giving you us a little trafficy impression of what the Rhine River here is all about. And while you're on either the left side of the border or the right hand side of the border, you just enjoy the rides and you chill on the grill. And have a unique effect also from the distance, as there is a smaller size of an airport right there by the telecommunication tower, and we just had another plane lifting off from that area. While at the same time you have a little high-speed boat getting you down from the left. So you probably have never any worries about any lack of excitement in here. Doing your thing, what you're doing, and getting nature doing its thing, what it's doing. And some kiddos better have to get some higher ground of those waves. I mean, you had some two big shippers now just cruising on by, giving them little harbor kiddos a unique challenge. Well, as long as they ain't got no tidal wave. There's this little speeding boat right ahead of us. Was really designing some huge waves. So ain't no telling what the melon's gonna be when this little camper here is done. This unique Rhine viewing restaurant travel ship. It's like one of those many opportunity cross lines that you have that go up and down the river for I don't know, it can stretch up to quite a few hundreds of miles all across the Rhine River. You sit in there, have a good time, having a beer, having a wine, having some nice food while you checking out the local coastline, and the local coastline checks out you. So, yeah, if you're actually getting wet, you might as well put them feet all in it. auf hier. In between the dunes of both sides, we hear the bells on the opposite side of church in Lindenhof, and probably the church you're about to see in the distance, and the bells you're hearing are the bells of the Markus Church. As you've seen already, a little bit currently restricted of walking and passing through this area, as there happen to be some little festival projections of movie presentations called the Park Festspiele. But you still got your trees and the birds. Currently, as we also mentioned, the current location of the festival des Deutschen Films, the festival of the German film movies, presented here at this location. And as it calls itself, the Rhine Walk. And in the late summer, it tells us it's the location of the film, so it looks like it's a very regular, well-known area. And we see a bunch of big names in movies, actors and directors would come around here to show off their movies and their latest projects. So this is an actual engraving, not just for right now, but a permanent sign here, as it happens to be. And this is a yearly event happening every year around this time, that they have these set up where you saw earlier big screen that we approached, and we had the circle around where you saw the seats and the big screen presented and constructed. Well, unfortunately, I won't be able to see much of that, but it is, after all, a well-known spot to get your film engravings a little push. Up. And what we have here, everybody, very unique, huge of a tree, and with this remembrance plate, it's been officially known as the Umarmbaum, the oldest tree in and around Ludwigshafen. And it's been certified that since 1879, this plantain is standing at this place. And from the green circle, it's been elected to be the oldest standing tree in and around Ludwigshafen. Quite an age, fella. This little camper right here, if you can see a little bit on the left hand side, carries the unique name of North Dakota. I'm just wondering myself, like maybe everybody else we've been asking, how is North Dakota coming into the Rhine River between Mannheim and Ludwigshafen? The island Bastei. And as you can see, we can take this from the Neckar, from the TV tower, all the way up in here to the Palatine. The rowers. Although we happen to be in Rheinland-Pfalz, in Ludwigshafen by all sake, but these people really seem to love the Eichbaum, the Mannheim beer. Sorry, no beer right here. would definitely say we have to appreciate the way this bridge was constructed. You just circle your way above, cross over, and you circle away around and going back down. This is not so bad after all. If everybody would get themselves on this unique idea of a public exercising place. You got your absolutely your stepping and your speeding bike here. And some sitting and stretching opportunities, some lifting, or like my sister, some seating. And it's really interesting, force you some exercise without having to join a some sort of a membership. Let's see if I can give you somewhat of an imitation. This is really functional exercise equipment, waterproof and whatever you can imagine with it, from a rowing to bowing to not knowing where you're going. And definitely coming with your instructor and your instructions, and of course the uses of your own risk. And it looks like this whole thing is an initiative thanks to these fine sponsors. Well, everybody, I really have to say I couldn't help it. I tried that little thumper stepper in the back, and by all means, it really works. Whoever comes over here, you got some real functional equipment, no doubt. And it beats any gym membership. Really jealous about those people that calling this area their home. Might be pricey to live here though. But other than that, you got a cool park, cool sides on the Rhine, view into the next states, and your own exercising equipment. What's the props? Very unique vacation home style buildings on this little Park Island section of Ludwigshafen, and ending up for a change getting a bus back to the Berliner Platz, the Berlin Square, Berlin place. And I really have to say that's one of the better parts of Ludwigshafen that I have pretty much altogether ever experienced in my whole lifetime. So definitely some home improvement. Thumbs up for you guys. Even if the Deutsche Telekom throws in the flags.